Hi, my name is Laura. Welcome to my YouTube channel. First of all, let me say, no, I'm not really a vampire. But yes, I do really live in Florida. It's a nice place, however, my fashion style is very different from the norm here. Florida is more like beach attire. So in this video, I'm using the word vampire as a metaphor for the one who is different. Throughout my life, I have always been the person who was different. Not only did I dress differently, but I also thought differently. I'm an artistic person. I like to be creative. I'm also an introvert. I like to read. I think deeply about a lot of things. One of the things I think about a lot is this chaotic, painful world we live in and how God might fit into it, especially a God who says he loves us. In the past, during the 90s and thereafter, I was into several alternative subcultures. These were creative and imaginative, but dark environments. Most of my friends and romantic relationships were from this same alternative crowd. The one big difference that I had with them was that I thought about God. I had lots of doubts and questions about him, but I wanted to work those things out. At that time, most of the alternatives were pagans, atheists, agnostics, and everything in between. They were very intelligent, but most of them didn't have an interest in God yet. So I really didn't fit in with them 100%. Since I couldn't talk about my thoughts and questions regarding God with my alternative friends, sometimes I looked to Christians or churches. Whenever I saw a minister or a pastor or a church, right off the bat, they always looked very boring to me. There was no creativity or cool music or flair like I saw in the alternative crowd. So, going to a church, right away I knew I was still the one who was different. The topics they talked about in the church messages were very simplistic, avoiding the deep, difficult questions that I had about God and the Bible, and not talking about a lot of the real situations I experienced in life. Sometimes there was a lot of focus on women and what they should wear or do, but there wasn't much accountability for men. We always heard the male perspective on things, but the female perspective, especially on certain topics, was non-existent. If you have been to any church, you know it's all about family. Well, I'm child-free by choice, meaning I have chosen not to have kids. I'm also not close to my biological relatives. So for me, walking into a church, I'm in no man's land. And because I asked the hard questions and dressed and thought differently, and because I was into alternative subcultures that they didn't understand, mostly what I experienced at church was a lot of rejection and judgment. Sadly, I'm not the only person who has experienced this. Thankfully, that wasn't the end of my story. For many long years, I just didn't fit in anywhere I went. My purpose in making these videos is to encourage those who feel the same way. I know how hard it is. I hope to provide some new, helpful perspectives based on my personal experiences. The first thing I want to share is, because I could never fit in, I was forced to find God for myself. I had to put forth effort and seek God in my own ways. What I found is that God is not like people. He is not limited like people. I always found that people could accept some aspects of me, but not other aspects, depending on who I was talking to. That was exhausting to deal with, and it felt really good when I finally learned that I fit with God, just as I am. That doesn't mean I'm never around people. It just means that I don't rely on their approval of me, because I have learned to self-validate. I believe that when we each seek God in our own ways, we can learn to celebrate our uniqueness instead of feeling badly about it.